Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Randy Shull. Good afternoon. My name is Randy Shull. Yo soy un artista. Vivas en Mérida, Yucatán, por 20 años. I'm an artist. I've been living in Mérida, Yucatán for 20 years. I also live in the United States, where I studied furniture design in the 1980s. And basically, I built furniture for 20 years before I moved to Mérida. And in Mérida, I was looking for materials to experiment with and to help me understand what it was about to live in the Yucatan, to live in Mexico. I was certainly inspired by all of the colors, by all of the activity, all of the just the creativity that I see on the street and people. So I wanted to figure out how I could translate that into my own work. And I started thinking about the relationship that I had with time when I came and spent time in Mexico, because my relationship with time always felt so much different. I wasn't in a hurry. Uh, there was a moment during the day where you could take a siesta, and I spent time in hammock. And I realized that maybe, in fact, the hammock was, in fact, had a relationship with time that was of interest to me. So I started looking at hammocks as an object to include in my art. At first, I included them in pieces of furniture where I embedded them into the furniture and then painted over them, sanded back through, kind of created this weathering process, very much like the weathering process that we see in Mérida, where people paint their houses, in 2 months of the year, and then it rains for 6 months, and then they paint it again. And over the course of time, you begin to see the patina of the process, the colors, the layer of colors over time. And again, the idea of time comes up in the layering of colors. So at some point, there was a shift between taking the paintings off of the furniture and putting them on the wall. And I think the shift was just running out of room in my studio. It was a very practical shift for making furniture and just pinning the hammocks to the wall. And then there was another thought about not trying to over intervene in the work, not trying to show off and say, look what I can do with all this technical mastering of technique. I think furniture making is so difficult in terms of techniques to put something together, to make it last over time that people can sit in, people can use, interact with, doors and hinges, that it felt very liberating to not have to make something that needed to stand up to time in another way. So I wanted to make pieces that I did very little work to. A good example are some of the hammock paintings that are in the booth here, where all I did was lay the hammock on the floor and then work on them as a painter, thinking of the hammock as a canvas, a handmade canvas, rather than a machine-made canvas. So in a way, the paintings subvert the idea of what a painting is, because if we think about a traditional painting, it's a canvas that holds the paint onto it, and there's an image. In this case, the painting holds the hammock together to become a painting. So it's the opposite, kind of inverted relationship between the two ideas. In fact, it's a whole new invention. Nobody's ever done this before. And I feel all these pathways emerging through the work, that all these different avenues I can follow in the work. In fact, most recently, I've been going to the factory where they make the string for all the hammocks in the Yucatan, and then just interacting with the string itself without it being woven. And it's kind of like the next iteration of the work. I'm always interested in how the work grows, where it can take me, different places it can go. And currently, here we are at Zona Maco. It's the first time I've presented my work here. I'm not a young emerging artist. I've been working for 35 years as an artist, both in the United States and Mexico. I've done residencies in Europe. I've done residencies in the Dominican Republic. I have pieces in museums in the United States. This is a life. It's not just about making product. It's a lifestyle. It's how I live. My home is a seamless environment that is art-filled. It's hard to tell the difference whether I'm working or whether I'm living in the house. So I like the seamless quality of being an artist.